Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of the World with Nate podcast. This podcast was created to shed light on some of the stories and lessons that we accrue during our time here. My hope is that those stories will bring us all together in this thing that we all call life. My hope for this podcast episode is that you find it both enlightening and enjoyable. So, sit back and relax. I want you to enjoy the ride. Special thanks to my friend Becker of Hawkeye Storage and Consulting for helping me bring Season 2 of The World with Nate to YouTube. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Season 2 of The World with Nate. Today I have amazing guests once again, Kayla Becker and Nick Kuhle. Today we're going to talk about some things that can help you immediately in your everyday life. I would like to talk to you two professionals about language and how that can affect people's everyday life. I came to know about these two. My wife took Nick's course, and Nick introduced me to Kayla. Nick was on Season 1 of The World with Nate, and we got to know each other through that. We became friends since. That was over a year ago now. So Nick introduced me to Kayla and said, hey, man, I got somebody you got to follow, and since I have been following Kayla, and I had to have you guys on to speak about language and the importance. So thank you for coming on The World with Nate, and welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
it's
Nate.
A pleasure.
Stoked to be back.
Heck yeah. Second time. Heck yeah. If we can dive right in, I would like to talk a little bit about your guys' history and how you guys came to doing what you're currently working on with Greener Shepherd and how you're trying to bring that into local schools and companies and facilitate change in people's lives. So with that, how did this get into your forefront, the language piece of what you're doing?
Yeah, so the language I was introduced to 3 years ago at an event that I was attending, and I learned about the power of our language and how it impacts our lives. I started to practice it in my own life. I took some trainings and certifications with it, and then I messaged Nick a year and a half ago, and I said, hey, Nick, we should do something combining our talents together because it'd be really beneficial for people to improve their lives through their words and also through their health and their holistic habits. And we came together to this great idea that eventually formed Greener Shepherd, and we've been working with schools and businesses for the last year.
Heck yeah. That's an awesome recap of it.
Yeah.
So when you're saying that, you guys are talking about health, and health is multifaceted, and I feel like a lot of times nowadays we get into the thing like the diet is going to fix it, and this is what's going to work. And you're speaking about language and how you talk to yourself and how you talk to others and how you talk intermixed other people and carry on conversations within your everyday life. That's very different from what society is telling us health looks like. What brought you to that realization?
Well, when I think
You said you were practicing it yourself as well.
Correct. So when I think about my own practice being a healthy individual, incorporating some of the tools that I've learned from Nick and from other individuals, it's a practice. It's something that I practice every single day. The same thing is with the words that I use. I practice the words that I use every single day. Sometimes I'm more conscious of it than other days, right? And it has a very different impact on my trajectory for the day based on how I'm talking to myself. So if we can teach people how to talk to themselves better, they can talk themselves into better actions that Nick teaches with his healthy, holistic habits. Yeah. And they can talk themselves into better situations at work and with their family and friends. And so if we combine those two together, they become a powerful individual. And that's what we want. We want empowered individuals.
Heck yeah. It's not a single piece. And we've seen that. Now you bring a different set of tools to this. Explain what you bring to the table.
Yeah, so within everything that we do, Kayla is the master linguistic.
Yeah, linguist.
Obviously, I don't come from the.
We are working on it.
We're working on our words here. I taught math for a long time, so Kayla is that, and then I come at it from like the holistic standpoint of things, of looking at people's sleep, looking at their nutrition, looking at the rest and recovery, and taking those two pieces together is where we take that with the school districts.
Now you said you taught math.
Yeah.
We spoke in our last episode, which people can find on Apple, Spotify. Speak a little bit about that. What brought you into this arena?
Yeah, so I taught math for 10 years, and about 2 years in, I knew that's not what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And then had some life changes that pushed me into the holistic health side of things. And then Kayla and I, we knew each other through teaching. She was my mentor teacher
It was.
for a couple of years. And then we both switched schools to the same school again, and we're still there. And our separate businesses combined, and they just meshed so well together.
They do mesh so well together.
And then we know the school system as well, so that's how it transferred into that where we are now.
Makes a lot of sense. And that's been a growing and learning thing for you guys, right? This is not something this is all new to both of you.
Yeah, the teaching aspect we've done for a long time.
Right.
Talking about this type of concept and with these populations of individuals, teachers, schools, businesses, is something new that we're doing, and we're very familiar with it simply because we practice it in our daily lives. So we have 365 days a year, plus how many years of practice under our belt. And we also teach others how to do it. So we practice explaining it in different ways that's going to make sense to them so that they can incorporate it as well and also find success. Because that's the goal, right?
Right.
Is how can you incorporate it in your life in a way that's going to make sense to you so that it's actionable, it's achievable, it's practical for you. Then you're going to be more likely to do it.
Right.
And that's what we want.
Right, to incorporate it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, when you're saying those things, you are giving people tools for the rest of their life. Your guys' programs are set up to teach people things and they move forward. Mm-hmm. And that's different from a pill that you're on for the rest of your life, right? Mm-hmm. That's the way you guys are trying to do business, is to give people tools to incorporate into their lives to make them better.
Yeah.
That's why we had to have you on the podcast. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's one of those things that if we can do our job effectively, which we do a really, really good job at it, we provide the individual with the tools to do it on their own for the long term, that they don't need to keep coming back to people or seeking out other gurus, that they have that skill set to themselves. And that's just something that you can't put a value on.
Very true.
Yeah, you're empowering the individual. And when I look across society, I want to be living in a society with a lot of self-empowered, self-reliant individuals who feel confident in themselves, who know the next steps that they want to take, and that they feel this sense of accomplishment within themselves. That's a very different society to live in than one where people feel unsure and uncertain, and they need somebody else to tell them what to do.
Walking on eggshells.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And communication. So my first aha moment with communication was I was on a bus in San Antonio, Texas at basic military training, and the first moments of the training instructor getting on the bus, he comes on the bus, he's in a flat bill hat, and he's standing in front of everybody. How you guys doing today? Everybody's like, we're good. And he's like, good. What do you think of Texas? It's nice. Start to ease up. This dude's not so bad. And then he's screaming at us and telling us to get the F off the bus. And I'm like, wow, that escalated really fast. And that's the power of language, right? And I think that so much in society, or just in general, I guess people, we do not value the power of our words. How do you show people how important that is?
Well, think about the phrase we hear as children, right? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Right.
That's not true. Words do hurt people. Words do have an influence on how we act and how we feel. And you can tell from that simple example that you shared, he was friendly, his demeanor was calm, right? He was possibly cheerful. He was engaging in conversation. Ooh, you relaxed a little bit. You felt a little bit better. And then, bam, he hit you with those attacks. And you were, head down, right? And you felt very different.
Yeah. Hugely different.
Yeah. And we can all have similar experiences in our own life when we're talking with a person. They make us feel welcome and comfortable, and they're relaxed and they're speaking at ease. And we talk to a different person and they're very stressed and they're uncertain and they're anxious, right? We sometimes take on those qualities without understanding why that necessarily happens. A lot of times it comes down to body language, which Nick can talk about. And it also comes down to the words that they're saying, which then impact how we're feeling as well.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, those words have an impact on your emotions. It has an impact on your posture. It has an impact on your sensations and your feelings that you were feeling very good at first. And then his language changed, and instantly, whoop, got that sunken feeling in the chest. You're like, yep, retreat,
Yeah,
back
heck
up.
yeah.
What did I sign up for?
Immediately. Yes. And it's wild. And I hope that we can share how important that clear communication is and how it correlates with those types of situations and how the listener can see, how in that instance you could feel like that. And with that insight, I feel like you can use that in your life to take advantage of yourself when you're in those vulnerable situations. Maybe not let yourself feel like that. Because we have control over those feelings as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, think about if you're having a conversation with yourself or somebody else, you're like, oh, I have to do this. I gotta do this, and I need to do this. How do you immediately feel hearing those words?
Wore out.
Wore out,
tired
right?
after you just said that.
Yeah, 100%. And those words are so common in the English language, and Nick and I refer to them as pressure language. Typically, when you say, I need to do this, I gotta do this, I have to do this, pressure on the chest, right?
Immediately.
Breathing's restricted. You start to develop this certain narrow mindset of all these things that you have to do, and you start to not see the creativity, the other options that are around you. Pressure language, it creates that certain sensation of pressure. If you change the words, and rather than saying I have to, I need to, I got to, I get to do these things, because regardless, it is a choice.
Yeah.
You're choosing to stay in your job and do it. You're choosing to do this for your family. It's a choice, and when you frame it as a choice, you feel differently about it.
When you frame it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And again,
very
it's your
strong.
choice.
Yeah, everything in life is, right? As
Yeah.
long as we can frame it as it being a choice.
And when you know about it too.
Right.
The thing with language that Nick and I talk about is most people don't know that about their language. You're not taught it in school. We're not aware of it when we go through our English language arts classes. I was an English language arts teacher.
Yeah.
I didn't teach it to the students in my class. I did not know about it at the time. Now I know about it. Now it's our goal is to share it with other people.
Yeah, to make people aware.
The best part about it is once you become aware of it, you see it everywhere. Every single person does it, and it's so ingrained in our society that it can be an annoyance at times, and it's like, oh my.
When you see it.
When you hear it, when you see it, and it's like, oh my God, they keep using soft talk or they keep using pressure language, and it's like, if I could just help share that or change that with them, that would just drastically change their perception.
Yeah, and can radically change your life.
100%.
Right? Yeah, as people, like you guys said, practitioners of this stuff, you wouldn't be calling yourselves experts if you didn't try to incorporate it every day in your life. And you've seen the amount of change that it can create just by doing these simple, easy things.
Well, it makes us more aware of what we're saying, that we have to slow down. Like we think about what we say. Like when Kayla and I are having conversations, we'll be like, oh, it's not what I meant. I'm going to say it this way. This is how I truly feel. And we live in this fast-paced society where everyone's just go, rattle things off. They don't even know what they're saying at times.
Right.
Let's slow it up. Let's think about the words that we're using, because those words we know have a direct influence on our posture, our body language, our emotions, our overall health, our outlook, our creativity.
The image you're portraying.
Yeah,
who you're trying to be.
Yeah.
It gets deep.
Yeah. And one easy way for people to practice this is text messages. Look at the emails that you're sending, right? Sometimes it can be difficult to catch yourself in speech because you are talking quickly. You're in a rush, or you're living in the state of mind. Before you send the text message, read it again.
Yeah.
Is it accurate? Is it what you really want to say? Are you using a word? Nick mentioned the soft talk, or are you using the pressure language? Need to, have to, got to. If you are, okay, reassess. Is that what you really want to say? Or can you make a different choice? If you can make a different choice, edit it, right? You can go back and think about it. Same thing with your emails. And that's a great starting point for people to start recognizing their language, because you can pause for a second. In speech, it could be more difficult. Once you hone in on those text messages and the emails, you're going to catch yourself more in your speech. You're going to catch yourself in conversations. You're going to have your ear will be attuned to other people talking.
Right.
And once you get more attuned, it's that daily practice. Then you start to make those subtle shifts, those 1% changes, and you're going to be in a vastly different direction. Nick talks about this: if a plane shifts course 1 degree, different location.
Yeah. Completely different at the end of a 1,300-mile journey.
Right? Yeah.
Different countries,
Yeah.
different continent,
World.
perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you think about that with our own lives. Man, if we make those 1% shifts
Today.
and we're in a totally different, different spot, man, what a beautiful world that would be
Yeah.
if that's what we're looking for. Yeah.
So for those who are like, oh, that's bullshit. There wasn't this. Well, that doesn't matter. It doesn't. It does. And we've seen it work throughout our lives. And my wife just taken that and soft talk. And that was something that is an Achilles heel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a learned trait, right? In some cases. And that change can completely change the ball game.
Yeah, and the soft talk, is a lot of times we do it because we want to be, we want to extend ourselves to other people. We want to be helpful. We want to be kind. We want to relate to them. Yeah, and you can relate in a different way, right? And you have different options. And the soft talk lessens your power. And if we're thinking about creating a world where people are more empowered, then we want to change the language. We want to shift it because of the benefits it's going to have. So soft talk is, if you look at your language that you're using, are you using words like think, maybe, probably, possibly, hopefully, try,
Perhaps.
Yeah.
They know some.
Well, here we go.
Yeah. So rather than saying, oh yeah,
Little
maybe
shifts.
I can meet you tomorrow. Well, decide. Yes, I can meet you. Great. Put on your calendar. Or no, I'm not going to be able to. I can meet you next week at this time. And said, perfect. Very clear. Both parties know what they need to do.
Not only does it benefit you then, it benefits you later too. Because you cleared up the stuff that you really didn't want to do in the first place and created anxiety and unnecessary thought process.
Yeah, 100%.
I told you guys that I was going to get you stuff that would help you today, and this is going to help.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do an easy example. Give me a goal that you have for the year, Nate.
To have 25,000 new people listen to the podcast.
Okay. So your goal is to have 25,000 new people listen to the podcast. Great goal. Let's add
Thank you.
soft talk. You're welcome. Let's add a soft talk into
I
it.
kind of would like to have 25,000 people hear the podcast.
Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah.
Did you hear your voice?
Dramatically changes how I feel
I would
inside.
kind of
Yes.
like very meek and soft.
Yeah. That's not who
Yeah.
I am. It feels gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listeners can do this themselves, right? Write a goal for yourself that you have for the year. Notice the language within it and add in a perhaps, possibly, maybe, hopefully, and see how that goal changes.
Yeah.
Does it feel different to you? More than likely, yes, it will. One's going to feel better than the other. Soft talk is going to lessen the power and the potential for it to happen. Taking those words out, create a solid goal. You know exactly what you want to do. You can move forward, succeed, crush it, nail it,
Heck yeah.
move on to the next one.
Clear, concise communication.
Spot on.
That's all we're asking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and giving you things that are going to help you do that. From my military perspective, though, I did gain an ability to clearly and concisely communicate, but I lost the extra stuff, the please and thank yous, the kindness. That stuff plays a part. That stuff's important too, right?
100%.
You can't just get rid of that and think we're all orders all the time, 100% forward.
Yeah, clear and concise communication is still kind communication. It's kind when you are accurate with your speech. It's kind when you say exactly what you want as opposed to what you don't want. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind when you are solid and say, yes, I am committing to this. I will be there. Versus, no, maybe I'm going to be there. Hopefully I'll show up at that time. Right? Kinder to be honest with the individual in a kind way.
And yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as somebody who in the past I didn't really feel the power of self-talk, and to be quite honest, on the outside, I was, a good football player, whatever, but I never felt that on the inside. Explain the importance of self-talk and how that can change people for the better.
Take it.
Cool. So that
Hell
goes.
yeah.
So that's sometimes we feel like an imposter.
Yeah,
right? Because
imposter
we
syndrome.
talk to ourselves as if we're an imposter. We talk down to ourselves. We hear those things other people say and we take them on as our own, as if what that person says is accurate and true. So we're going to wear it, right? We're going to zip it up and proclaim it as our own. When in reality, it doesn't. You don't need to choose that as your own. You can choose something different. And self-talk is not something that I learned in school. Did you learn self-talk in school?
I didn't even know it was a thing until 30. Like, what?
Nope.
Yeah.
That little brain has a name, that little voice.
Yeah, and and you think about your own children and you think about other people in your life, how better off they would be if they talked to themselves in a way that was taking them towards what they want as opposed to pulling them back and away from what they want. And that's one of the main things that Nick and I work on when we coach individuals and schools and businesses is what language are you using when you talk to yourself and what impact does it have, because it can make you feel like an imposter without you even knowing that you're doing it. And most people have a loop of several thoughts that play through their head every single day, and some of them are going to be detrimental to their success, and they're not theirs to begin with. They took them on as their own, right? Something that somebody else said that they now believe because yeah. And it's no fault of their own until they know to do something different. And then you have the power, then you have the choice, and you have the capability to do something different when you're practicing it daily.
Right. When it's incorporated in your everyday life and it's ingrained into the type of person that you're trying to be. Yeah. That you are.
Good catch.
Oh, yeah.
Did everyone just see what happened?
Don't make me look bad here. So the education, this wasn't a random realization for you guys, all of this self-talk and the importance of it and the healthiness of it. How did you gain education into this realm that you're pursuing now? Talk about your formal education into the health coach realm.
Say that one more time, please. I want to make sure I understand your question.
What is your formal education to be able to relay this stuff to the layman? What makes you a subject matter expert? Your credibility.
Through all the coaching that I've done, so 500 plus coaching calls puts a lot in that. Through the Chet Institute, getting all that holistic health side of things.
So talk about the Chet Institute for people
Chet Institute, it's
don't know.
It's an institute based on holistic health and integrated movement science, and it's teaching people how to live and move and be healthy individuals. And it comes back to making small, simple changes. Most people out there are dehydrated. Got some water right here. Like, that's a small change that has profound impacts, just like language changing. Taking the I try out or I think out has a profound impact, and it's a small drop in the bucket. So the holistic health side of things that the Chet Institute talks about, it just talks about a prime example is if you have a plant, it needs a certain amount of sunlight, water, and soil. I think I might even said that in your past podcast.
Heck yeah.
We as humans, we have some basic foundational principles that need to be in balance for us to be healthy.
Sleep is not questionable. You can't get 3 hours of sleep and be, well, I can do it. Let's debunk that, okay? Because there's so many people who I talk to. When do you go to bed? Midnight. When do you get up? 4. Dude, you only get 4 hours of sleep? Well, I'm okay on 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, they wear it as a badge of honor. It's a badge of honor almost.
Yeah. That's ignorant to me. I mean, I'm like the opposite side.
But
like
you have 10. You have 4 kids, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens if any one of those 4 kids doesn't get good sleep?
Monsters.
Yeah. What else?
Same thing to the adults.
Yeah, we are literally children in adult bodies.
Yes.
So if we can't practice sleep, like right there, and seldom anyone that I talk to or Kayla works with or anyone that we work with, seldom does anyone have a prioritization around sleep and their rest and recovery habits.
Why do you think that is? Society?
Because it's go, 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 go. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, I used to say that shit. Hey,
that's all my dad said.
Through my 20s.
Yeah, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Nope, got plenty of time.
Yeah, cool. Well, have fun dying 10, 15 years earlier.
I'm dead right now. Yeah.
So that's to come back full circle. That's what the Chet Institute is on, and that's what I practice, and that's what Kayla and I practice, and that's what we take into the schools and the businesses to help them out. Because like we said, it doesn't have to be complicated. We can make small changes that have profound impacts.
I think that's very important that we highlight too. We're not asking people to radically change their diet and develop these new habits. These are things that we're doing. We just got to refine and make it a little bit better right away to change our lives, right?
Yeah, and the benefit, when Nick and I go into schools and businesses and we do our workshops and presentations is Nick talks about that healthy, holistic lifestyle, and I talk about communication and mindset. And we tell people, take what makes sense to you today. Because for some people, sleep could be their number one priority.
Right.
Focus on that, please. We will see you again, and then you can choose a different area to focus on and make small incremental changes to create the success. Because we know that most people are going to benefit from that multifaceted approach, and each person is different. So what resonates with you may be different than the next individual, and we want you to choose something that will resonate with you because we know that you're going to be beneficial because of it. We don't expect you to do everything we say. We expect you to make small, significant changes forward. And that's where the benefit comes from. Ownership
Absolutely.
Comes from that then too.
Ownership, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have no ownership, then all this is just words, right?
Yeah.
And you see that a lot too, unfortunately.
Yeah, our through line, or the theme for another word is as above, so below, as within, so without. So if we have things going on in our head, that's going to impact our psychology. Our psychology will impact our physiology, our body. If we have things going on within our body, that's going to impact our psychology. If you're putting garbage in, what do you expect to come out?
Yeah.
However your internal environment is, your internal thoughts, that's going to be reflected into your external world.
Right.
So, yeah, as Kayla is saying, we go in and we deliver some of the small things, and like, this may resonate with you. It may not with this other individual, but take one of these things, take two of these things, put it into practice.
Heck yeah.
See the change that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And most of the time, with all the things that we're talking about, the sleep, the words, the hydration, you can notice an effect.
Almost immediately.
Yeah, almost immediately.
Yeah, that's what's cool about it is the thing, and they're not complicated subjects.
No.
Drink more water.
Yeah.
Literally, it'll fix a lot of your problems.
Yeah, so often people are stressed out and they have a lot of anxiety or just a lot of stress about things happening. We know this is true for teachers. So we went and we did a workshop with a school a couple of months ago. And Nick, I'll have you tell this story because you can tell it better than me. But we did a simple breathing exercise with them.
Oh.
And we had someone share, and it was amazing, the response that they had.
So we did this twice now. So we'll just go through a simple breathing activity. I would say 95% of the people don't know how to breathe correctly. And we take 25,900 breaths a day. Like, that's a lot of...
After you were on the podcast the first season, I read the breath.
Great book.
Yeah, that you recommended it to me. Amazing. If you want your mind blown about the power of your own breath.
And he breaks it down. And the book is very sciencey, but it's very written for the layman.
Right. That's why I loved it, because I like science, but brain can't work that hard.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It was great for me.
So we
Sorry
did,
to die.
No, you're kidding, brother. Yeah. So we did a simple breathing activity. I think it was for 2 minutes is what we set the timer for. And at the end, we just asked, hey, what'd you guys notice? We had one individual, some lady raised her hand. She's like, my heart rate went down 15 beats in 2 minutes.
Immediately.
And we're like, wow, that was awesome.
Yeah.
We did it with another school district, and we were just sharing that. And I was saying this funny story. I was like, yeah, we did it at a different school. Someone's heart rate went down 15 beats. And this lady was like, mine was at 130. She had some smartwatch on.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's now down to I think she said 70 or 80.
Holy smokes.
She's the type that's very on overdrive.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by taking 2-3 minutes just to focus on the
Cognizant.
breathing, it brought her heart rate down
50 beats.
so much. I was like, how accurate is that watch? But regardless of
the number,
it brought down a lot.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
if it was only half of that 25 minutes.
Yeah.
That's still significant.
Huge. And you correlate that to those pumps every minute for the rest of your life. That's a lot of beating on the heart. That's unnecessary.
Which puts you in a very upregulated, sympathetic, stressed out, fight-flight stage.
All the time.
You try going to sleep with that. You try having nice conversations with your students. You try having good conversations and relations with your colleagues.
Yeah.
That stuff
or your wife,
or your husband, your wife, or your kids.
Yeah.
That overflows into every aspect of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're choosing the wrong words, you're not breathing effectively, if you're dehydrated, all that stuff just fills this rain bucket up. So I'll just, now that I said that on accident, because it's something that we talk about all the time, but we call it the rain barrel effect. A rain barrel sits underneath your gutter, collects rain. You don't notice it until it starts overflowing.
Exactly.
And these are all things that you can do to start minimizing that flow of water.
Yeah.
before it starts overflowing.
I like it. I like it a lot. So you guys spoke a little bit about your education experience and how that correlated into why you guys are so passionate about what you're doing now. Greener Shepherd, that's what you guys started together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So Greener Shepherd works with schools and businesses, and it's about providing communication mindset and holistic health trainings to them. We specialize and base it off whatever each school or business wants. So we'll go in and we'll meet with them and get an idea of what they're looking for to improve, and then we'll base our workshop around that.
So a principal or a CEO or
Sales
business
team.
owner
Yep.
contacts you guys.
Yep. Reach out to us. We'll sit down, have a conversation.
What sort of things are they saying to you are the problems?
Stress, burnout.
Turnover.
Listen carefully,
Turnover.
listeners. Stress, burnout, turnover.
Yeah.
Sick days.
Yeah, sick days, just a sense
People
of
not wanting to be there.
overwhelm. Yeah, and it, to be honest, it may not, negation acknowledge, be because that they don't like their job. It's because of all these other things that their blinders are on, and they're unable to accomplish the things that
Right.
they want. So they need to take a step back, and so we work to help lower the stress, lower the burnout, help them see different options so that they can live a joyful life professionally and personally is what our goal is. So we base each of our workshops off of whatever that specific school, that specific business is looking for. And then we go in and deliver great workshops and work with their staff to experience the change that would be most beneficial for them.
So give me an example of something that you would do at a workshop, maybe a exercise.
Yes.
You spoke a little bit about the breathing one.
Yep. So we'll do breathing. We'll play language games with them, which is similar to when I had you
trap me in.
the need to, have to, got to, right? We'll play those games because games are a great way for people to see it in their own life. It's not just me telling you. It's not just us telling you something. It's you get to play the game. People like games. And then they can see the difference and the impact that it has. I wonder what that's going to do for me if I continue doing that same thing, right?
Light bulb.
Yeah, light bulb. And then we give opportunities to share and to reflect on it. Nick will talk about healthy, holistic habits, shifts that they can make that would be very small, actionable next steps. And I'll continue to talk about other areas that your language, you could shift to that if you so choose to have that impact in your life that would be beneficial when you work with students, when you work with your sales team, when you work with clients. When you talk with your family, right? We all are part of conversations every single day. And if we can improve those conversations, it's going to improve many areas of your
What
life.
if we held a value on every single word that we said?
Yeah.
And we actually held ourselves responsible to the things that we're putting out there. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. And to so much of the extent when Nick and I talk with schools and businesses, our goal is to have other people model it to the kids. This was not something we all laughed about earlier that we learned in school, that we learned anywhere else. So now is the great time, right, for teachers to model it, for parents to model it, and to teach the kids so that they can make those small changes now rather than making those changes later in life as we all are doing.
Behind the curve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be a lot easier when you're 7 as opposed to 37, right?
100%.
Heck yeah.
Well, it's just like your daughter right now.
Yeah.
She like eating takeout food?
Yeah.
Kate?
Oh, no, hates bad food. Only eats healthy stuff.
Like, that's awesome. Like, she's got that set. That's going to benefit her for the next 93
Won't
plus
eat McDonald's.
years.
I'm like, Dad is tired. We're having McDonald's once in 14 days. You can eat McDonald's. It's not real food. I know it's not real food. And then I'm the idiot because it's not. What am I doing?
You got your daughter telling you.
Yeah, 7 years old.
All right, you win.
Yep. But
Dad's cooking something now.
that's real life. Hell yeah. As we move in the future, so you guys set up these workshops and going into these places to teach these things out of a need. This need is not going to go away as we move farther into virtual and not reality, real life conversation. This stuff is going to be compounded, right? How do we ensure that that's not what happens, that the ability to communicate is still present in society as we move towards a virtual world?
Yeah, there's finding that balance between what society looks like and what the demands of your job are. And one easy thing that you can do is to keep yourself healthy. Because if you keep yourself healthy, it's going to impact other areas of your life. And that goes down to, what are you eating? What are you drinking? How are you sleeping? What are your relationships like? And a lot of your relationships come down to your communication.
Yeah.
Simple fact. So if you can improve your communication and make some small changes, it's going to impact how you're relating to others, the world, everything around you. And then you have a leg up on whatever happens to society, right? You feel empowered.
Yeah.
You have that sense of self. You're self-reliant. You're more able to tackle any of the challenges that come towards you because you yourself are healthy and you yourself have good communication, so you can communicate that to others.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you're not operating out of a fear-based mindset. You're operating out of love-based mindset. Fear-based is going to constrict everything. It's going to make more of a not myopic view. It's going to narrow your vision. This microphone's in the way every time I try doing this. But like love expands. So by focusing on yourself, that's going to open up that expansion. And then when chaos does come your way, you're grounded. You have the ability.
Because it will.
Yeah,
It's life.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
In one way, shape, form, or another, it's
Right.
going to happen. But then you're going to have that ability to be proactive and not react.
Right. Be proactive. And that'll clear up a lot of the angst and anxiety that's created with being reactionary, right?
Yeah.
Same with like preventative medicine, things of that nature. Like what we're doing is preventative.
Right. Right. But it's
Yeah.
not a pill. How are you curing people? Yes, that could be a whole
the body's own
17-hour
innate-
podcast.
Don't get me started, Nate.
Yeah, on the pharmaceutical companies and how they're running the world.
I forgot you got a camera here.
So
can
you
see how I
guys,
roll.
yeah, and we don't want to get canceled yet. We're in season 2. You're somewhere between full-time and overtime, working all the time, I'm sure. What's your schedules look like if people want to incorporate this? How do they go about getting you guys to come and help them out?
Yeah, the best
Take it
way
out.
to contact us is to email us at greenershepherd@gmail.com.
One word,
One word,
all lowercase.
all lowercase,
Okay.
greenershepherd@gmail.com. Greener, Greener, Shepherd, SHEPHERD @gmail.com. And email us and we'll meet with you to discuss what you guys are looking for, what your needs are, what your wants are, and then we'll create something for you from there.
Custom-made game plan to tackle what your problems are.
100%.
Where'd the name Greener Shepherd come from? You
So
guys
greener,
look at each other.
it's always like who wants to take it.
Yeah.
We have a really good working relationship. So
You guys handle it very well. I like it.
greeners, because we want to make business more profitable. You get happy employees, healthy employees that come around. Like that's going to do a lot for your profits.
A ton.
Yeah. So greener, that was that aspect, and then we both have shepherds. They're very loyal, and
like
so
it.
we're like
The dog.
Yeah, the
German
dog, the
Shepherd.
German Shepherd. So we're like, what's a name? And we came up with, we had a couple other ideas, and we landed on Greener Shepherd. And we're like, that just feels
There's a lot
right.
in a name.
Yeah, it
And
There
feels
is.
right. So
like it
that's
a
how
lot.
we went with Greener Shepherd.
Yeah, I've always wondered that, and I didn't know that, so I had to ask that.
Yeah, everyone asks that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a great question.
Well, it's a unique name.
Yeah.
And there's tons of different possibilities. But, I mean, the most important things are time and money, and you guys are trying to make both of those for businesses. So it seems like it's a great shepherding people towards the right way of
Leading
thinking.
the way. Yeah,
And
100%.
easier life. I cannot let you out of here before we do the firing range.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, Woo. It's a supposed to be lightning fast game of this
Okay.
or that, and you just pick whichever one speaks to you.
Okay.
So before
we both
start, I'll ask you yours, and then Nick has separate ones.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, they're kind of geared so that listeners can learn a little bit more about, because I have to dig and be a creeper for you guys, like before you come, so I have an idea of what's going on. This episode of The Firing Range was brought to you by E&O Equestrian Center. It's a horse boarding facility located right here in Cedar Falls, Iowa, that offers full-service care for all horse lovers, regardless of their discipline. Sometimes you have these snobby horse people who ride, and this is not that place. You can find more information on Facebook at E&O Equestrian, or call Marissa at 319-215-5319 if you have any questions. Marissa, amazing. Her father, Orville, they work out at Fit. I don't know if you know them, but you will after this.
I will.
So thank you for sponsoring the podcast. Without any further ado, Kayla, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. The first one for you is journaling or meditate,
Journal.
yoga or tai chi,
Yoga.
mountains or beach,
Mountains.
sleep in or wake up early.
Sleep in.
That surprises me. Speaking or listening,
Speaking.
learner or a teacher.
Teacher.
Ooh, teach or teach. Tea or coffee.
Tea.
Black, white, or color.
Black.
Okay. And these are for you, Nick. German Shepherd or a Labrador Retriever.
German Shepherd. You can stop right there.
No question. Sauna or a cold plunge.
Sauna.
Workshop or class.
Workshop.
Chicken or beef.
Beef.
Short term or long range.
Long range.
Skydive or bungee jump.
Neither.
Hike or terrible. Hike or bike.
Hike for sure.
Past, present, or future.
Present.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys. I respect what you guys are doing. I love it. I think it is so important to where we're going as a society to have you guys, and I look forward to watching what you guys do in the future. So thank you for taking your time to come on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Nate.
it.
Heck yeah. Special thanks to my friend Katie Hine at Mattress by Appointment, Cedar Falls, for her sponsorship of Season 2 of The World with Nate.